Okay, so bear with me for this video. I usually don't do left hand on this harp because the stretch is so much bigger than my harp. So I'm gonna play wrong notes, but not to be a broken record, it is about the process of how I'm coming up with the left hand, not about exactly what chords I'm choosing to do. So I don't think it really matters which harp I use because I'm just gonna tell you how to come up with chords and everything. So this tune is in C. So first and foremost, of course, you want to really know off the top of your head that 1, 4, 5, and we're going to mostly be working within those, but then knowing your alternates for each one. So instead of 1, you could do 6, and 1 will be sort of normal. It'll sound sweet and major and unobtrusive. 6 will sound dark. A 6, 7, which would be a 6 chord A minor with a 7th on it, a G, will sound kind of slightly in between the two because it's actually technically both chords on top of each other. So it's the A minor and the C major together. So it has a slightly mixed, like it's a little bit dark, but it's a little bit sweet. So those are for your 1 chord. You could do 1 or 6 or a 6, 7. For your 4 chord, you could do F, which is just your normal, very major, unobtrusive chord. But sometimes instead of the F, you could do a D, which is a 2 chord, and it'll be minor. It'll sound a little bit darker. And then, of course, you've got your 5 chord, which is the G. And there's not really much I do instead of a 5 chord, except maybe moving by step, some sort of bass line that's moving by step. So, as always, I would just give yourself a chance to play just really, really normal, common, not trying to move outside of what's really obvious chords first. So just C's. Here, I feel like it needs to change. So I'm gonna mark this change. So that's a F, right? And then the G to the C. So I'm not saying there can't be more chords in there, but that when I'm just sort of pushing it out so that I'm only changing when I need to, whether I'm listening to hear if things don't line up or I'm looking at the melody notes I'm playing, I can just see, sorry. Like all those kind of go within the F. They're in that F range of stuff. And then you need the 5 before the 1. So I'm just making it as unobtrusive as possible. C, F, G. Okay? And I would do that until that's really easy. And then same for the B part. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing a C to F to G. So I'm just finding my basic, where is it kind of mostly a 1? Where is it kind of mostly a 4? Where is it a 5? Okay, just marking this stuff. And for a while, I would play with just that so that your right hand can be really comfy playing the tune while your left hand does the minimum amount of work. So I'll play through that a few times so you can kind of play along. I make no promises on playing the right left hand because it's such a big stretch, but I'll play the whole tune a couple times. Okay, so now my right hand is comfortable with my left hand moving around, and you might want to play the tune a whole bunch more times than that, but that just gives you an idea of how very little you can do with it still sounding like you're playing the whole tune. And I think marking those must change changes are pretty important. Now, it's not that they must be those. In fact, what might be fun real quick is to make them all something different. So I'm going to play through, I'm going to switch a different one each time. So first I'm going to play a D instead of the F in the middle. So I said 2 with a change for 4. So you can have kind of a minor sounding chord there instead of super major. Right, that's pretty nice. And then what if at the repeat we did just like an A7 instead of a C? So this is the D. It's not my favorite, but actually I kind of like it. As you move, like when you're sort of later in the tune and it started to develop, that might be nice to have that A7 in there right at the repeat. Sometimes that's nice. Just throwing that out there. If you've got that A right on the downbeat, to have it come up to the C, that's 6, 7, 1. You're arriving there on that C. That's just another little process moment that's standing out to me when I think about playing an A instead of a C there, is can I make a bass line that comes to the C? And then, like I said, I wouldn't really change the G unless it was some sort of scale thing. So maybe like I don't know, some kind of walking bass line if you were going to play a B there. That's okay. So that was just B to C, but the B is still part of a G chord. So I'm just sort of checking in on those alternate chords. You can use an alternate chord while still having a pillar of change, but you do have to change chords in those places. Those are pretty important places to put changes every time. So then I think it's pretty clear that there are other places chords might like to go. And so first, I think it's pretty clear, I can't reach these chords. That kind of wants a chord there, right? And it's still a C chord. So I would play a C 10th up to an E. And if you're playing a C to an E, it might be nice to sneak a D in there. Right? I realize you can't see my hand because it's way down there. But, sorry. Then you can just come up to the F. It's right there, right? So now we're starting to get into the walking bass line down here, right? Maybe. I don't know, it's too many chords anyway. I kind of want to have some kind of G down to the F, but I'm not sure I love it. So here, technically those notes are part of a C chord. So you could just bounce right back down to the E so that you can get those Fs, right? So that's C, walking to the E, F goes here, down to the E, and then F, F to G7. That is kind of a nice little slip jiggy thing to do. I can't talk that fast. F, F, G, and then B part. You know, same thing there. It's just still a C chord. I feel like it's nice to have something there. So I'm just playing notes of a C chord. So I've got the 10th, and I'm putting a little C in the middle. D is nice here. And then the C. So then you've got the D to F. Right, I just did the same thing there. I did the D, F, F. I hope that all makes sense. I know I'm talking through it very quickly because I don't have a scared looking face to respond to when it gets hard. So don't be afraid to text questions as you go. So then the other thing I would do, if you're at this point and it's nice and comfy and you can kind of walk the bass line around or do a D instead of an F, all that kind of stuff, then I would start looking at places where some of the chords you could do up high instead of down low. So like so I did like low, mid-range, and then low there again. Back low. And then here as well, coming up high. All I'm doing is just breaking up the chords, but I'm just doing C chords up high. That E is actually kind of nice there. I didn't mean to do it, but I kind of like it. So I played an E minor instead of with a C there. I played the B in the middle. So that's D, F. Okay, so all I'm doing is bringing some of the same chords to the mid-range and breaking them up, or bringing them to the mid-range and going like, you know, stuff like that before heading back down. But it's the same old chords. I'm not changing which notes I'm using. I'm just changing the voicing of them, or sometimes the timing of them to break them up. But some of that, like, you know, it's not hard, but it just kind of sounds a little interwoven and cool on those really notey high bits. So there's no special secret to it. It's just C chords, but I'm just breaking them up into, you know, one note at a time, 3-note chords, and I'm changing inversions. So hopefully that gives you enough to work with. It's fun. As always, I don't like to just tell you exactly what to do, because it's no fun to have students who all just play all the same and who just play what I play. So feel free to mess around with anything you want. But when you're picking chords, think about what color you'd like there to be. So if you've got a chord that you think goes, but it sounds too bright, look for a similar chord with similar notes in it, but that's a minor chord. Or vice versa. If you've got a chord that's just too dark, look for a similar chord with similar notes that's a major chord. So with any, like if you've got an F and an A, you know, if you have F-A-C, that's the major version. If you have the D at the bottom instead, D-F-A, that's the minor version. So that's what I mean by having a chord with similar notes, but one note different to make it major or minor. Hopefully that makes sense. Enjoy. If you have any questions, let me know.